Yo, what's good? My energy is kind of low right now. So what's up, yo? You know who it be? Your favorite Philly girl. My energy is kind of low right now. Your favorite Philly girl is now live on who? WCMD Radio. You already know. So, what's tonight's topic? Respect me like you respect your mama. Mm, mm, mm. So I had put a post up a couple weeks ago, right? Oh no, excuse me, a couple days ago, and I talked about I discussed on my page that a lot of times men are more forgiving of their mothers before they are more forgiving to the women that they share their lives with, their homes with, their beds with, that they have children with. And I guess I haven't gotten to that point with my son, so I really can't understand why are sons so more forgiving for their mom. Don't get me wrong. You are supposed to love your mother, respect her. In the Korean, it says your mother, mother, and if not your mother, then your father. So I get that. I do. I understand that. I respect it. What I don't understand is how you could go out your way to respect someone else's mother. Because I'm somebody's mom. You know what I'm saying? I may not be your mom, but I'm someone's mother. So, in other words, show me some respect as well. And I think that so many times men have gotten so comfortable. They have gotten so comfortable with just disrespecting us. And this goes for whether you're Muslim or not, across the board. And I said this before. Y'all give animals more love and respect than y'all do human beings. And I don't care who on this page, who on my live, whoever, does not respect this statement. But this statement is 110% true. The number one disrespected person in this country, in this world, is the black woman. Black women, oh, okay, says it in the hadith. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. Shukran. I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, the number one disrespected person in the country or in the world is the black woman. I don't care who agrees or who disagrees with that statement, but it's the truth. We are so disrespected. We can't even get, even when we're being disrespected by another race, right? We can't even get our own men to stand up for us ever in a day. Can never get our own men to stand up and really defend our honor against anybody. Like, we're always humiliated, violated. Then you compare us to other women, other races, which I really don't understand why do y'all do that. When 99.9% of the time, y'all mothers are black. So what I don't understand is why is it that y'all feel so comfortable to be so disrespectful towards us? Like, what did we do to y'all? Like, there was a guy on my page, and I won't say his name, but he seemed like he had been like abused and violated by a woman in his family or by his mother. He had no ounce of respect for women at all. Like, he was saying like, oh, women can have multiple kids by multiple men. Why should I respect her when she could go and lay down with another man and have relations with him and da 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 da? Well, because I feel like you should respect the person that you're with. Like, y'all get super mad when women decide to have their children, right? But then you don't ever stop and think about the fact that you laid down with this person and decided to have kids with her. You know what I mean? Like, are we taking that into consideration, or are we just going to ignore the fact that are we going to ignore the fact that's true? That you just decided to have children, and some of y'all be having like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids with this one woman. Won't never marry her, won't never take her serious, right? You just decided that she's going to be your lifelong girlfriend. Like, I don't really understand the full dynamics of what goes through people's brains. You know what I'm saying? Especially men. Like, if I could, like, literally dissect a man's brain, I would. Because I really want to know, like, what did we do to y'all for y'all to feel like y'all could just, like, treat us like trash? You know, like, and this is why, and it may not sound nice to some people, but this is why some black women go and they marry men of the opposite race. Because they feel like, why should I keep being, or why should I keep trying with the same man or the same black man, and I keep getting treated the very same? Because I could sit here and tell you how many men, black men, I know that have a disregard for life. Like, they have no desire to be respectful of a woman. They have no desire to take us women seriously at all. Like, that's really like how their mind frame works. And I know some people may disagree with what I'm saying, but as a black woman, I can honestly say that I've been more disrespected by men of my own race than any other race that I could ever think of. And I'm sorry to say, but it's the truth. Like, y'all don't even cherish us like y'all supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, y'all look at us like dogs. And I get it. Some women, you know, they go on their Instagrams or their Facebooks and they're half naked and this and that. But just because this is how they make their living, that gives y'all the right to disrespect them. Like, I don't really understand it. Like, where does it say, like, oh, I'm just going to disrespect black women? Like, I'm just going to do that. Like, is that a law? Because I feel like it's a law. You know what I mean? And for too many times, like, for instance, in my marriage, right? I learned so much about my husband after we got married, which was, I guess, a gift and a curse or whatever. It was a gift because it allowed me the opportunity to really understand where his pain and his trauma came from. And in all actuality, it came from his mom. It came from his mother. You know what I mean? Like, in the beginning, right, you be so, like, head over heels open for a person. You don't pay attention to the signs. But the first sign was, right, that I should have picked up on, that I knew something was wrong, was when we were in a car and we picked his mom up and she wanted to go to the store, right? And we were taking her to the store and he got out the car. I forget what he got out the car for, but whatever, who cares? He got out the car, and when he got out the car, me and her was together in the car by ourselves, right? So we talking, you know, just light stuff. And she brings up his son's mom. And I was like, okay. It was super awkward, but whatever. I just went with it, whatever. She old, so whatever. So she was like, yeah, I just wish he just respected her more. And I just wish that that he just treated her nicely or treated her better. And I was like, he don't treat her nice? I'm like, what do you consider treating her not nice? He was like, oh, just the way he talks to her. He's always yelling at her, cursing at her, da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like, well, I can't really give an opinion about it because I don't know the situation. So she was like, yeah, I know, I understand all that. Then I found out that the baby mom was living in the house with who was the man who was going to be my husband and the mom, right? I ain't know nothing about this, y'all. It was super weird. So I was like, she live with y'all? She was like, yeah, she stay here or whatever. She fell on hard times. So I'm like, oh, okay. So when he get back in the car, I'm like, you ain't tell me your folks was living in the crib. So he just started snapping like he was going off in a car or whatever on his mom. And I was like, what you snapping on her for? Like, she just, like, you know, keeping it 100 with me, whatever. He was like, that's not her place. Da-da-da-da. She shouldn't have told you that or whatever. I'm like, well, at least somebody told me. You know what I'm saying? But just looking at the dynamic of their relationship should have told me that it was toxic, right? So let's fast forward. We get married or whatever. And so one day my husband called me very upset, you know, crying on the phone, whatever. So, of course, as his wife, I run to his aid because I'm trying to figure out, like, what's wrong, what's going on. So I go to his mom's house or whatever. And she just sitting there looking like, you know, like she ain't did nothing wrong. So I'm like, what's wrong, what's going on? And I'm not going to put my husband's business out there too much, but I learned some things about my significant other that day. I learned a lot. And what I did learn was that his mom allowed a lot of things to go on when he was a kid, right? And so anytime they got into something or whatever, he will always bring me in as a third party. So to his defense, I'm always going to defend him. You know what I mean? Because that's my husband. I'm going to defend him. I'm going to be there for him. I'm going to ride for him. But at the same time, I'm like, you keep allowing this lady, I know it's your mom, but you keep allowing her too much of your energy. Like, you allow her to disrupt your peace. So I'm not saying cut her off, don't have a relationship with your mom, but at the same time, there should be boundaries. There should definitely be boundaries, because if you're allowing her to upset you this bad, I'm talking about he would be enraged or whatever. He would be snapping out. And I'm like, why do you keep allowing her? That's my mom. Okay, but does that mean because she your mom to allow her to keep being somewhat toxic in your life? Because it was draining the life out of me. Like, it was burning me out. Like, I was like over it. I was over him and I was over her. And I called her one day, and I may not have been very nice, but I told her, I was like, listen, miss, let me explain something to you. Like, this is my husband, this is my marriage. This is my man. You got a man. You rock out with your man. You figure out what you need to figure out with your situation. But with this situation, I'm going to need you to take a chill pill. I'm going to need you to fall back. And if this continues or whatever, then yes, I am going to limit the communication between you and your son. She's like, you can't do that. Watch me. And it was like, it really became normal for them to have this type of toxic relationship. Fast forward, so me and my husband go through something or whatever, and he literally, right, the way he handled me was totally different. Yes, I did. Was totally different from how he handled me. And I was like, hold on. This lady has literally caused you lifelong pain. She has caused you lifelong pain. So you mean to tell me, because she's caused you lifelong pain, you can consistently allow her to be awful to you, right? But then when it comes to me, you throw all of your worries, your troubles, your problems, everything on my lap in order for me to figure out, organize, help you get over certain things or whatever. And I do one thing that you don't like, and you holding it against me? Like, you serious? I couldn't even understand it. And it's like the hold that these mothers be having on their sons, you ain't never lied, sis. It's like a whole indescribable. It's a word that I don't even know what it is. Like, it's awful. It's awful, and it's unfair, especially for women who genuinely love their husbands and genuinely want to see their husbands do better. I feel like there is no time but the present to really try to tackle the problems. Like, even the things that I learned about my dad, my father or whatever, from, my mom and I just talking, and the things that my father's mother had did to my dad growing up is like, geesh. You know what I'm saying? And then you can't even be mad when you learn about these things, and then you think about all the things that these men do to women. And I really feel like it starts at home with the moms. Like, you mothers are ruining your sons. You're ruining your sons. Like, you're doing some things to them or whatever, right, that no woman in this world can repair. And what's happening is it's just turning into a revolving cycle. And I ask the Lord that he just don't ever allow me to have that type of hole and that type of toxicity over my son. Like, I want him to be able to grow up and have a healthy relationship with his wife. But unfortunately, right, a lot of these men, they don't want to get help. They don't want to acknowledge that their mothers are awful people or whatever. And then they don't want to accept the fact that, you know what I'm saying, maybe distancing, not completely, but maybe putting some sort of distance between them and their mother until their mother accepts all the stuff that she has done to you. Because let me tell you something. That lady, she said there was, and I swear, I was on some Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Phil stuff that day. Like, I ain't got my own family issues. But I told both of them, like, y'all need help. Like, y'all need help that's far beyond what I could do for you. And she just kept saying it on. She's like the queen of manipulation. Like, no lie. Like, no lie, the queen of manipulation. Like, the stuff that me and my husband, I'll never forget. We were sitting in my store, and he must have saw her walking down the street, and he brought her in the store, and me and her was already having problems, and my mom was sitting there, and he was just snapping. I was like, won't you get your son? Like, you see him acting like a lunatic. Won't you get him? Oh, you right. I will get my son because he's mine. Oh, sis, if he yours, you can have him, right? Guess what? Then when me and him separated and he had to go back home to her, she ain't want him there. That's what I didn't understand. You cause trouble in our marriage, right? You make it seem like he your man. Then you put him in situations where he got to choose between you and his freedom, right? And then you make him feel like he got to choose between you and me. And then when I let you have him back, you win. You can have him. It ain't that deep, sis. I give him back to you. Now you don't want him. Now every day you calling my phone trying to figure out how to get him back to my house. How does that work? How does that work? Like, that's the part I don't understand. And then he calling, begging to come back home. Oh, no. Oh, no. You wanted to be with your mom / girlfriend / wife. Like, that's where you wanted to be, right? That's what makes you happy. So, again, help me understand, fellas, brothers, bros, whatever you want to call yourselves. Help me understand the logic in all of this. Like, I really don't get it. I don't get it. Like, and it's very, very, like, draining when you have to constantly play mediator, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist. You have to be the wife, the daughter-in-law. Like, you gotta be all these people. You gotta wear all these hats just to fit into this dysfunctional dynamic of a mother and her son. Like, I just think that it's just, like, really ridiculous. And I feel like, right, when you men don't accept that the fact that there is an issue between you and your mom, because for real, some of your relationships is like borderline Lifetime movies, like real red, because that's how it was with my son, father, and I, when we actually were in somewhat of a relationship or whatever. Like, his mom could not stand me. And it was weird because after I had my daughter with somebody else, her and I somewhat formed a relationship before she passed away. And I couldn't understand. I'm like, yo, this lady, when I say, yo, she hated my guts. Like, she could not stand me. And it seemed like my son's father was so okay with her dictating his life, even down to custody. Like, me and him would have a court hearing. My mom would be like, you want me to come with you? I'm like, no, like, I'm grown. I can handle this stuff on my own. I don't need you to babysit me and come with me to no child support court or custody court. And mind you, he was always the petitioner. Always the petitioner. And she would come with him, and I'd be like, bro, and she wouldn't even be allowed in the courtroom, but still was like, what you need to bring your mom for? Like, y'all, it seemed like it was always them against me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do it need to be there? Why can't it just be the fact that, okay, we both had a child, let's work this out between the two of us or whatever, and then move on. I really didn't understand it. I really didn't. Hold on, I'm going to take some comments. Mike said, you said that to his mom. Yes, I said that to his mom, Mike. Like, I wasn't playing with that lady. I was dead serious. And she kept saying, you can't do that. I said, miss, watch me. Like, are you serious? Like, if I really wanted to cease all of this communication between you and him, I will. I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, even down to money. You don't want him to live there, but you want him to help you pay your bills. How does that work? How does that work? You don't want him there. Try to get him locked up. You finally get him in jail, and then you call me crying because you all upset. But you don't want him in jail. You bail him out of jail. He come back home to you, and you still don't want him there. Come on now, like, tell me, help me understand. But this is why these men be walking around all confused, looking crazy and looking stupid, because they come from weird, crazy, looking stupid parents, if you ask me. the moms be a trip over their sons. Yeah, they do, but they be too much. And I ain't the one. Because for real, let's be honest. We not teenagers no more. I don't care if my man's mom likes me or not. Like, I'm not no child. Back in the day, that would work. You was a teenager. Oh, you wanted your boyfriend mom or whatever the case may be. You wanted the guy you was talking to mom to like you, and you wanted his family to like you. I'm 35 years old. I don't care about who like me and who don't. Like, that stuff don't matter no more. That's for kids. Sometimes their moms need to be put in their place because they be out of pocket. Exactly. And I am the daughter-in-law to do it. I will straight put you in your place. Like, I don't care. You're not going to cause havoc and drama in my household. Like, Nizzo, like, I'm not going for it. I got to tell you a whole mom-in-law story, shaking my head. No, your question is for the moms, not the men. They don't know why their mom act like that. Oh, no, they know why their moms act like that. Because let me tell you something. Your sons allow it. It can be a very nice way that you could gently put your mother in her place. Because everybody have a place. I have a place. Your mom have a place. If you got kids, your kids' mothers have a place. Everybody has a place. And I strongly believe that men set the tone. But when you set the tone as open season on your wife and significant other or whatever, just because you lack the ability to have 110% respect for her, and you show your family, especially your mothers, that you don't even have respect for your significant other or your wife, then of course it's going to be open season on her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you men need to set boundaries. Y'all need to set a tone. The tone needs to be that this is my wife. She is number one in my life. Yes, you are my mother. I love you. You have a place in my life, but you have a place. And that needs to be clear, and it needs to be concrete. I should never even have to say anything. I shouldn't even have to check your mom. I will. Trust me, I will. But I shouldn't have to. That's your mother. You feel me? Like, that's your position to play, not mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, this lady could go out here and do anything she want. It's cool. And still disrespect me on top of that? No, wrong one. Wrong, sis. I ain't going for it. Like, I just, it's certain things that I just won't do. I'm the most respectful, sweetest, nicest mother-in-law I could ever, daughter-in-law I could ever be. But at the same time, or whatever, no. At the same time, I'm not going for no disrespect. That's not going to happen. That can't even fly. That can't even fly with me. I'm sorry. It just won't. Text me. I don't know. What do you want? Go, Zimmer. I know because I've been there. Just go. You always interrupting my show. I told you about that. I know because I've been there. Sorry, but when I was there, I didn't see the signs. If they're a mama's boy, they're not going to be a good man for no woman, because their mom always going to have something to say about your relationship. And that's my whole thing with that. I feel like when you allow people to have an opinion about your life, like for me, I'm extremely vulnerable and transparent on my show. So I'm basically giving people the opportunity to have an opinion about me. But at the same time, I feel like when boys go and they cry to their mom about every little thing that goes on in their relationship with their wife or their significant other, that's where the problems come in. Because now you've allowed your mother to have an opinion not only about our relationship, but now you've given her a reason to have a negative opinion about me. So that goes back to setting the tone. So every time you run back to your mom and you tell her about what's going on in our personal relationship, 9 times out of 10, you're the culprit and you just don't like how I responded or whatever to the situation. Now I'm the bad guy. So now you present your whole case to your mom. What you think she gonna say? 9 times out of 10, she's gonna be on your side. She ain't gonna be on my side. But the thing is about moms, what we forget is that we're women first. So I feel like a lot of times when your son come and crying and complaining to you about his relationship with me or whoever, then I think that it's for your best interest to be like, nope, son, no, you work it out or whatever. Encourage your son to go back and work it out. Not be like, oh, you know, I told you about her from the beginning, or always being super negative. So that goes back to, again, setting the tone. These men set the tone for their moms to be disrespectful. I don't care what nobody say. Sad part, these men don't think there's nothing wrong with them. And let's go back to that. There's something wrong with you. I can honestly sit here and say in front of this camera that I got issues. I got issues. Y'all know I got issues. It's clear. It's evident. I don't hide it. I don't try to pretend. I don't try to avoid that there are things that go on in my life that need to be corrected or to be worked on, right? So, but I've never been the type of woman either to go back to my mother and complain to her about everything that goes on in my relationship. I don't do that. Like, that's just like for us women. We go to our girlfriends and we vent to them. Do I 110% agree with that? No, I don't. Because I think that it's certain things that your girlfriend should and should not know about your relationship. I think that certain things should be specifically for you and your man. But that goes to the men too. Like, stop going to your mom crying like a little nut about every little thing that go on in your relationship with your significant other. Like, some things should just be private. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the type of woman, I'm going to check your mom. Like, I don't care what you say, she say. There's been plenty of times my husband called me like, oh, watch what you say to my mom, or watch what you say about my mom. I don't care about none of that. You feel me? Like, I don't care. Like, this is the same woman who has allowed X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm telling y'all, some of the things that my husband has went through as a child is heartbreaking. Like, it is so bad. Like, oh my goodness. Like, some of you moms should be under the jail. Y'all may have not physically done things to your kids, but the things that y'all allow men to do to your kids, especially these boys, is awful. Is awful. So I used to straight chin check him like, bro, don't come to me about her after all the things that she has said and admitted to doing to you or allow people to do to you. Man, you better get out of my face. Like, I'm not trying to hear that. At the end of the day, if you're going to have a relationship with her, cool. If it's going to be a toxic one, I can't allow it. I can't. So it's either going to be you or her. Y'all go ahead and get married, and I'll just excuse myself out of either equation, or y'all gonna figure some things out. Y'all gonna work this thing out the right way. And that's just how it's gonna be. Jealous of your relationship, which they had. Oh, jealousy. Oh, let's talk about jealousy. Woo, child. And you know what? And that's why that one time I told her, like, you got a man right now. Whether you want to be with that man is between you and that man. But far as me and this man go, this my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the person he chose to marry. That's me. So for you to come outside and come inside of our relationship because her son allowed it or whatever, it's kind of baffling to me. And she had a nerve to tell me, like, one day when I called her and I was like, yeah, you'll be calling me, telling me to come back and get him. Like, this ain't going to last long or whatever. And she was like, oh, you seem bitter. I said, damn, I seem bitter. I said, how can I possibly sound bitter? But was I bitter when you were calling me, wanting to vent to me about what was going on in your life with your man and your other kids? No, I was supportive. I was the ear to listen, and I allowed you to say what you needed to say and express yourself. But now, because or whatever, you calling me about your son, and I'm checking both of y'all because I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm bitter. How am I bitter? Like, come on now. There's no logic. Mothers expect their sons to put family first. Listen. I am your family. I'm not talking about no girlfriend or boyfriend stuff. I'm talking about husband and wife. I am your family. Your wife is supposed to come before everybody. Your wife, your husband are supposed to come before the children. They supposed to come before everybody except God. That's it. It's supposed to be God, your spouse, your children. You know what I'm saying? And then your mother, father, and whoever else come after that. You ain't supposed to put nobody before your wife except God. That's it. What are you even talking about right now? A wife can come and go, but family is forever. Oh, Lord. You serious, Mike? You serious? See, and guess what? And it's just that mindset that you men have. It is that exact same mindset that you men have is why, right? That your relationships will always be awful. That's just what it is. When you come into a marriage or we come into a relationship with someone and you have that mindset, a wife can come and go, how you going to even say something like that? Then that means that you don't have no intentions on being with this woman for the rest of your life. Like, I don't really even understand it. That's just awful to say. You should have brought me on for this segment. Sis, that's not a man. Men that do that don't have a dad. They need to confide in someone, and I agree with that. And my husband's relationship with his dad wasn't the best or whatever. Even though I did try to encourage him to have a better relationship, but that's true. I feel like when there is no man figure in your life, and there's no one in your life constant, like a consistent male role model, you're going to be super confused on how to even be or even maintain a relationship with somebody. I get that. I do. I really do get that. But at the same time, it's like, don't you want to do something different? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even say I do to a woman if you feel like you know you're not going to really be with her? Then go marry your mother. That's just it. I really don't know what else to say. I'm trying to get to your messages. Men that do that don't have, oh yeah. So basically what I was saying before, men don't have a fatherly figure. If you don't have somebody constant in your life showing you, setting, laying down the foundation for what a marriage is supposed to look like, then of course you're going to have these problems. You're going to have these issues because you don't have nobody that's showing you what's right. Let's be for real. At the end of the day or whatever, right? I feel like having a positive male role model in your life can only what's the word I'm looking for? Can only lay down a foundation of what a relationship is supposed to look like. And that's just what it is. If that's not what's going on in your life, if that's not what's constant in your life, then of course you're going to have issues. Of course you're going to have problems or whatever in your relationship because you don't even know what to do. You don't even know what to do. You don't even know how to even go about stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I'm so tired of men making excuses as to why they do this or why they don't do that. I feel like get some help. Like the moral to this segment is that we need to really figure out a way to respect one another. And because I feel like as African Americans or as black people or whatever, like we do a really terrible job of supporting and respecting one another. Like the support and the respect that we have for one another is at an all-time low. But we will literally jump out the window for people of other races for whatever reason, whether it come to clothes, whether it come to businesses, whether it comes to music, whatever. Like we will literally like lose our minds just to cater to other people. What's so wrong, right? What's so wrong with us really stepping out of our comfort zone and doing something different and saying, you know what, I'm going to respect him. I'm going to respect her. Because respect goes a long way. And I feel like the more we are respectful of one another, it really can help the relationship. I feel like a lot of times when they say, like, why you not with that person no more? oh, because we had money issues, oh, because of infidelity, or oh, because um or whatever the case may be. But it all boils down to is respect. Respect. Like, respect goes a long way. I said this on my post. Like, y'all respect dogs before y'all respect each other. And I don't care what nobody say. Like, black women are, we have targets on our back. Like, people go out their way to disrespect us. So if our old men don't want to protect us and defend our honor and love us and cherish us like we should be, right? Then who else is? I feel like a lot of times women, we get respect because of the men that we're in a relationship with. Look at the whole Nipsey Hussle and Lauren London situation. I feel like Lauren London's respect, right? All of those men that stepped up for her when Kodak Black got disrespectful with her and wrote that crazy, said that, made that crazy video about her and this, and that, and the third. Men stepped up to defend her honor because of who her man was. Not because she's a black woman and we should respect her. Heck no. That ain't why. Even Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club even said that on his show. Let's hold everybody accountable who goes out their way to disrespect black women. Not just because she was in a relationship with somebody who was like a power force or somebody who was a big deal out here in the industry or in the streets. No, respect me because I'm Christina. Respect me because I'm a woman. Respect me because I'm the mother of your child. Like, I don't know how many times my son's father disrespected me or whatever, and I had to literally, no lie, and this might sound crazy, but I literally had to go out and earn my respect with my son, my own child, the boy that I raised, the boy that I carried in my stomach for 9 months. I literally had to reprogram him and teach him how to respect me because his father was just so mad and so angry because I didn't want to do certain things the way he wanted me to do them, that he just went out his way to disrespect me, violate me, treat me as if I didn't just bring his whole legacy into the world. Like, really though. And it took years and years and years for my son and I to get to where we're at right now. And it was so disheartening. It was so hurtful. It was so mean. It was so hateful for the way that he treated me. It was crazy. Like, even now, like to this day, he's still that way. If he get mad and he get bent out of shape about something that I say or do, it's open season on me. He says some of the worst things to me, like awful things to me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not that weak, so I don't really internalize anything that he say to me. I just know that he's like a petty Eddie or whatever. But at the end of the day, that's basically setting the tone for how my son treat me. And that's the problem that I'm having, especially with the men who think it's okay to disrespect the women that they have children with. So you think it's okay for your children to grow up. Now, don't get me wrong, my son ain't never called me out my name or like just blatantly be very disrespectful towards me, like verbally, but I'm just saying, like, far as how he was treating me or how he would disregard me. Like, my son really disregarded women for a long time. Like, he would pay you no attention. And that ain't because he was born that way. It was because that was what was taught to him. That was the example that was set for him by his father. So, of course, he's going to think it's okay. Like, his teachers used to say when he was a lot younger, like, oh, Hamid doesn't pay me any mind. Like, he just disregards me. He dismisses me. And I'm like, really? You know what I'm saying? We was hearing that kind of stuff in, like, 2nd grade. You know what I mean? And I'm like, hold on there. Like, that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? And it was only at one time that he actually admitted it. But the thing is that only thing his father was worried about was making sure that his wife and his mother were being respected. But there were times when my son was disrespecting his mother. See, that's when it started becoming an issue. That shouldn't be that way. Like, when we send our sons out into the world, right, and to interact and communicate with other people, they're a reflection of us. They're a reflection of us. So if we think that it's okay for our sons to become husbands or boyfriends or whatever you go for or whatever as far as relationships goes, if we think that it's okay for him to disrespect women, that's a problem. That's an issue. Like, come on. But I do, and I think somebody said this a long time ago in one of my posts. I truly do believe that it has a lot to do with the slave mentality. I do, because if we think back to slavery, how men had to sit back and allow their wives and their daughters and their mothers to be raped and mutilated and beaten and whatever else, and things were done to them as well. You know what I mean? I could see where it's just been a trickle down effect. Like, it's literally carried over into 100,000 years later. And it's awful. And I think that it's time in 2019 that we try to break the cycle. Because my daughter is 11. And my biggest fear is that I'm going to send her out into this world with y'all sons. And it's just going to be open season on her. And she going to think it's cute. I work with kids. And I listen to how these young men talk to these girls. And these girls think it's really okay. They think it's cute. They think it's attractive. And it's not. It's awful. And it's disheartening to know that these are the kids that we're bringing out. This is our new generation. I think it's a problem, and I think that we have to really do something about it. And it really starts at home. But just to go back to just these mothers and these sons, like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sickening. Like, it really is. And I feel like if you love your mom that much, then you should just be with her. And I ain't even being funny. I'm being straight up and down, and I'm being completely honest. Like, if you truly believe that your wife, or excuse me, that your mother has more leverage over your wife, and I'm not talking about girlfriends and stuff like that. I'm talking about your wife, the woman that you chose to say I do to, or whatever the case may be, to be in a relationship, a lifelong commitment and relationship with this person, and you telling me, excuse me, that your mom has a right to disrespect her, and you have a right, and your mom co-sign you disrespecting your significant other, that's a problem. That's a problem. And I think we need to do something about it. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not sitting here saying, like, cut your mom off and just leave her deserted somewhere and never be loyal to her. No, I'm not saying it, because I'm a mother, and I wouldn't want my son to just disown me or whatever and cut me off. But what I'm saying is that there should be boundaries. Let's just start there. Can we start working on boundaries and setting tones, men? Like, let's start setting some tones, guys. Like, let's start saying, making it clear, like, everyone has a place, and making sure that everyone plays their position accordingly. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing else. All I'm saying is that it would be nice if we could just start there. Can we start there? So I'm going to end my night off there. I appreciate everyone who tuned into my show. Don't forget, June 14th, I'm doing a giveaway. I really hope that you guys will call in on the show that day. It's going to be the 8th caller. Don't forget, tune in to Confessions of a Philly Girl every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. where WCMD Radio, your favorite Philly girl. And I'm out. Peace.